In a dark, dark town there was a dark, dark street. In the dark, dark street there was a dark, dark house. In the dark, dark house there were dark, dark stairs. Down the dark, dark stairs there was a dark, dark cellar. And in the dark, dark cellar some skeletons lived. There was a big skeleton, a little skeleton, and a dog skeleton. Woof.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Masquerade Time Fun Time Special. Can you all remember where we left off? What? No? Well, let's take a trip down memory lane to see. Last time, upon the last hour we saw, Chell did step through the door. Down she went to cellar deep and hit a step far too steep. So she turned from flesh and bone into a puppet, that was known. Yet how odd her state was in, instilled pure terror in a heroine. For Eve did jump and claw and climb upon poor Crimson, who though apparently fine, had slid to the floor, convulsing with glee, mirrored by Lucas, both laughing free. Chell grew angered, shorter than most, and flung herself across the room like toast. Impacting a wall, she crumpled in a heap, leaving poor Anna confused, thinking too deep. Onwards the group stepped, resolved and steeled, to solve Chell's problem, to make her healed. And now we join our companions once more, as they head outside of the door. To keep this masquerade from breaching, and the purpose of this misdeed they would be teaching. Good lessons with tooth and claw, don't mess with kindred, lest ye be no more. Wow, kids, that was cool, wasn't it? Okay, everyone, let's get our masquerade hats on. It's time for more Masquerade Time Fun Time! Yay! And that's where we join our group, standing outside the hearth with a bag of Chell, Anna, Eve, and Crimson on the side of the road. What happens next? Once you guys have recovered sufficiently, apparently.
You've killed us all. Eve is going to be. I guess she's going to turn to Crimson and go, so you seriously have no idea what's going on with this? I mean, come on, you're the one that does all the, like, voodoo magics.
First of all, voodoo magics, right, arches a brow at her. It says, and secondly, no, I really don't. I didn't even think that was possible until I'm not even sure that this is even happening right now.
Did you dose us all with Fey blood?
No, I'm really hoping I'm just asleep. I haven't woken up yet.
You wish.
I really do.
A muffled voice comes from the bag.
Eve's gonna open the bag and go, what?
That's what I'm hoping. I thought this was a dream as well.
Well, we're all that's hallucinating.
We can't all be dreaming the same thing, right?
Probably not.
This bag does feel rather real.
You know, I'd say I'd call Dad about it, but she just looks at Phil. I don't think he'd believe me.
I think he'd burn me.
Very likely.
What about the elf?
Guess that's always an option. And she looks to Anna. Do you think we should go see the elf?
I don't even know who the elf is.
A literal elf, sort of. Fey thing. She's very pretty. She shrugged.
If she knows about, magic.
Well, she knows how to do magic, I would assume, but I doubt she would know about puppet magic. What do you think, Crimson?
This kind of goes past my knowledge, and since she seems to be a hub of knowledge, might be able to get something out of her. I mean, it's probably not going to tell us who did it, but it might tell us, she might be able to tell us the nature of what type of magic did this. And that would give us at least a starting place.
It seems within her realm as well. She does like stories and creative things.
Well, we got a story for her. Let's go, Chell.
And
And Eve will start walking towards Kaylee's shop.
Crimson just kind of like looks in the bag and he's just gonna whisper, "Okay, when we open up the bag, jump out and start dancing." And he like closes the bag up.
You'll see a little thumbs up as you close it.
So you guys are heading off to Kaylee's shop, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. That means there's a scene switch. So upon arriving at Kaylee's shop, there's the standard cobbled street leading off in a almost alleyway-like lighting situation. There's a spot lamp from above every perhaps 40 or so feet, and Kaylee's shop is just where it was. And there's a big, bushy, ginger cat sat in the window, as per usual.
And at that, Eve's going to give that cat a look, but she's going to push the door open to the shop.
It is, in fact, locked.
Well, then Eve's going to knock.
The big ginger cat jumps down from its perch and wanders off out of sight into the shop. There's maybe a minute or so passes before the illusion of light drops and there's a dark, unlit version of the shop that Eve can now see. And there's several sounds of locks unfastening before the door opens, and Eve needs to make a self-control check.
Okay. One success.
It's enough. So, as the door opens up, you see a rather sleepy-looking Kaylee dressed in a very long, baggy shirt hanging off one shoulder, slightly mussed up hair as though she was in bed. Hello, Miss Everly. I wasn't expecting you at this hour. Meanwhile, Fizzy has slid out the door and is pawing slightly at the bag that Chell is in.
I'm just gonna go. Sorry to bother you so late, Keely, but we've got a bit of a problem. And I think you're the only one who can help us. Can we come in?
I'm the only one that can help you. Music to my ears, Miss Everly. Do come in. And she steps back, clicking her fingers, and the shop lights up.
We will wander in and she'll wait for Crimson and Anna to follow her in. And who's carrying the bag, by the way?
It's probably me. I'm assuming Lucas handed the bag off to me before having to go run an errand.
Okay.
Crimson, of course, will just walk in, set the bag flat on the counter. He turns and waits for the at least the door to be closed.
With both of them and Fizzy inside, Kaylee flicks a hand and the door swings shut with a little jingle of the bell. And then she kind of walks around behind the counter, slides a drawer open, puts down a small plate of cookies in front of Eve, before she leans forwards on her elbows, interlacing fingers, and rests her chin down on them. So what's this bag then, Is it perhaps another artifact for people to lose within the city?
It's actually a kindred, and he's gonna open up the bag.
Might hear a little bit of breath before Chell jumps out of the bag onto the nearby counter and starts dancing. Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal. And she'll just keep singing that as she dances.
Kaylee's just kind of looking at Chell. Is that? And then there's a rather darker voice from the floor. Yo, what? Jeez, Fizzy? That's a puppet! And then there's a large bushy ginger cat just rolling on the floor laughing.
And Chill's just gonna stop. This is probably the first time she's seen the cat talk.
Fizzy, stop being rude.
I don't blame him though.
Yeah, that was my reaction to it too. But he's still like looking at the cat, kind of wondering why this cat just spoke.
Yeah, Eve's still not used to him speaking. Even if he spoke in front of her one other time, she's still kind of like jarred when he speaks.
Oh shit, man. Oh damn. Oh man, that's the best crack I shit seen in years. Fizzy, watch your language.
So you can see why we brought this problem to you, Miss Fletcher.
I was just walking down the stairs, and one moment I'm 6 feet tall, the other I'm this.
Oh really? How curious. Fizzy, quiet. And she snaps her fingers and he just poofs out in a ball of smoke. So, what exactly happened? Do describe in detail.
I was walking down the stairs, about to go to the gym, and then I stepped on a particular stair, and next thing you know, it wasn't even that noticeable. It was just suddenly my viewpoint was a lot lower, and suddenly I'm nice and soft and squishy. At first I thought it was an illusion, so I checked a mirror. I took a photograph with my phone to see if that'd prove anything, and then I went downstairs and she's gonna kind of gesture at the other two. And then I went downstairs to, well, the other three, and to these three, who, well, I'll let them describe.
She glances over to the other two rather expectantly.
And Eve will go, I thought she was an animatronic. I screamed a lot. She wasn't. I did go over and touch the step that Chell has so adamantly said might be the cause, but all I got was a feeling of immense, perhaps magical energy of some sort around the time that she, well, went to Sesame Street, as it were.
Curious.
They all blamed me, but I don't even know how that's even possible.
I honestly thought it was one of his business partners who had come in.
Shell, I can assure you, I've seen vampire magic. And she shakes her head. Even Cross can't do that.
No, if it was... There is perhaps one thing, but I have not met one in several years. It would be along the lines of something that my kind would do, but I do not believe it has the telltale signs. Perhaps what you are looking for is more arcanical in nature.
If you excuse me, what would the telltale signs of one of your kind doing it be?
I wouldn't tell that sort of information for free, Miss Chell.
Chow Chow tries to frown, but she's a Muppet. It doesn't work.
Well, what else could have done this? It wasn't something like you or me.
You take me for some sort of perhaps neonate in this city. Let's speak terms.
And it's like, oh, you want to talk business? And perks up at this. Much in the same way you'd expect a salesman or perhaps some sort of devil to perk up. He smiles, of course, showing the pointed teeth.
Yes, indeed. Business. For as lovable and fuzzy as Chad is at the moment, I hold no particular motivation to assist currently.
Not even the story that comes along with it.
I've already heard the story that comes with it.
Ah, but you haven't heard it all the way to its completion, have you?
A tempting offer. Very well. In addition to that, if you should find any sort of artifacts upon completion of this story, you'd please bring them to me.
Alright, well, I'll just make sure that they wouldn't be a danger to either of us before bringing them here.
I would argue that they are safer here than in the hands of the kindred of this city. You do like to misplace things. Obviously present company excluded, Mr. Crimson.
Gives a bit of a nod to that, just says, yes, well, if it became dangerous after being picked up, I wouldn't want to bring it here and put it into your hands where it could endanger you. You understand that, I assume?
Of course. So, let me just... And she reaches down and places a small, almost notebook-sized thing on the surface of the counter, flipping a few pages open before picking up a quill from the side of the cash register. Now, may I ask quickly if any of you have heard of anything arcanical before?
And David would Shall have? In regards to the
I
path.
don't think so.
What about Eve? She's been around for 7 years as a vampire, and she was in Vegas.
It's possible. Although, you probably would have only heard like very vague mentions of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say that for Eve, the only thing she probably would know, and I'll just say this is in character. Well, the only thing I've ever really heard of was that there are people who can use the arcane outside of Kindred or Gower or any of the other things that go bump in the night, but she shrugged. I don't know who or what they are.
Well then, I seem to be educating the trio. There are those who can use certain energies that are not of my kind nor your kind. Perhaps to put them in a better name for you three. A warlock or wizard, perhaps? Either way, a name is merely a word, but there are those who can change the very fabric and substance of reality, such as turning flesh and bone to felt. And she motions at the puppet.
So we're gonna go traipsing through Independence looking for Harry Potter.
Wouldn't we just have to look for a scar then?
Evil rubber temples, and she'll go, well, that sounds about right, but how do we tell the difference from them from anybody else? I mean, my second sight can see if somebody is a magic user, but there's, what, 100,000 people in Independence?
It strikes me that this sort of magic is rather directed. Perhaps Chell was merely a unfortunate side effect of another spell, but it would seem to me as though they attempted to find the person that was in that building and change them to something that they wanted. It's very... I would say that this sort of thing is very direct. Seldom does it go wrong, at least at start. Perhaps whoever has done this will find you.
So you're telling me someone just randomly turned me into a muppet? Someone that I perhaps do or do not know?
No, I am saying that someone very specifically turned you into a puppet. You, or an attempt on Crimson, at least.
For fuck's sake. Excuse my language.
At this point, Eve's going to pick up one of the cookies that was set out, and she's going to nibble on it, and she's going to look at Crimson and go, how many enemies do you have?
I'll get back to you on that.
I don't think he has enough fingers for that.
Well then, I suppose we better start looking for said enemy.
I would be very careful.
Well, obviously we don't know what they're capable of if we can turn 6-foot giant into, well, this, but we've got to get Chell turned back. There's a lot of threats in Independence, and we kind of need our hound.
I would wish to point something out. And Kaylee leans down behind the bar and brings out what looks like a crowbar and just drops it on the counter next to Chell. Mr. Simon, would you care to attempt to bend this?
Sure. I guess Chell's gonna pick up the crowbar and attempt to bend it. With the power potence, does it bend?
Oh, it bends. You see, it is not the, shall we say, substance of a person that changes. With magics like this, it is generally an outward effect. Illusion in all but the fact that it is actually real.
Eve will blink for a moment and she'll go, I just had a thought. Kaylee, if you have any with you, I don't know if Crimson does, but could I get some of your blood?
That will cost extra.
I figured as much. She looks at Crimson for a moment. You don't happen to have any of your own, do you?
And he's gonna reach into his pocket to see if he does. I'm gonna leave it up to a fate die. Nope.
So she's going to turn back to Kaylee and go, alright. What would you charge me for that?
You'll forgive me for being quite unimaginative in my very tired state, but I believe there is a ledger, and I have heard tell that if it costs you blood, it should be major.
Oh, you want a boon. She thinks on that. So, yeah. Never bleed for less than a major boon.
Yes, that was the quote.
She'll hold her hand out to Kaylee to shake. Alright, I'll let the harpy know as soon as I see her.
As shall I. And she places her hand rather delicately into Eve's.
Eve will shake her hand, and then she'll go, what way would you like to give me that blood? I don't want to startle you by using these, and she motions to her teeth.
Though I would like to point out that's not nearly as painful as you'd assume.
Well, no. The kiss is quite a pleasant feeling, really.
She glances off to the side. Fizzy, present. And the big orange cat jumps up onto the counter. Probably larger than Chell. Keep watch, Fizzy. Well, since I lack current medical facilities in order to do it, and she leans her head to the side, pulling the collar of the shirt out slightly.
Eve will step forward to Kaylee and gently kind of pull said Kaylee into a hug, very gently, delicately, and will lean in and sink her teeth into the crook of her neck. And of course she's only going to take 1 point before backing off. But is there a roll for fate to resist? I'm sorry.
Is there a willpower roll or something for me?
I think that's
I'm pretty sure it's a willpower roll, but I'm not sure if it was the difficulty 8 or 9.
I think it's 8. Actually, no, it was 9 because I had to roll this before, so it's a difficulty 9.
Why don't we ask for war?
Ha! Oh Jesus!
Oh wow! Oh.
Oh.
You are completely overwhelmed by this pleasurable sense that's akin to being on the best drugs, being on the drunk off the best wine, being full of the best food, and simultaneously having the best sex of your life.
You'll probably go a bit.
Sorry, continue.
Sorry.
Well, when Eve steps back, Kaylee brings a hand up as she blinks her eyes a few times and just starts fanning herself. Oh my. I believe I may have to have Lennox do that sometime.
You really should. It's quite great. Oh.
Courage roll, kitten.
Uh-oh. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot, though. We're just going to say she licked it closed so you don't have a wound on your neck.
Yeah.
Courage. I think it was... Yeah. Courage. 1 success.
Okay, you do not fall prey to Bedlam.
Yay!
However, you now need to make a new self-control check as you see Kaylee in her full unleashed mien.
Yep. One success.
Well, Kaylee is extremely, extremely captivating for you right at this very moment. It might be because of the bite, it might be because, Jesus Christ, you can now see her properly again. The shop is coming to life around you. It's like you're in like Toy Story 3 and Andy's walked out of the room and everything's going on around you. You see a giant lion just kind of sprawled across the counter that looks a bit like Fizzy with a sort of flat, almost humanish face and twin antlers coming out of the top of its head. You're tripping balls, woman.
Yeah, I was gonna say Eve be tripping balls. Eve's going to look at Kaylee, stare, try not to drool. Just like, wow, beautiful. And then she's gonna look at Fizzy again, and then she's gonna turn her eyes to Eve, or not Eve. Sorry, Chell. What does Chell look like through, Fey Blood eyes?
Chell looks very much how she had been as a puppet, except there's a very faint glow around her. It's almost like you can see an aura, except it doesn't appear to actually be an aura, more of a pulsing light around her. The same sort of pulsing light that you may have seen whenever Kaylee uses certain types of her magics around you.
Huh. She's gonna, reach out to try to, touch this aura while she's looking at it, and her hand's gonna go right through. Okay. Well, perhaps we should go out now, Chell. What do you think?
I guess it means I have to get back in the bag, doesn't it?
Well, I could always hold you in my arms and pretend you're a dummy.
I think I'd rather stay in the bag for safety reasons.
Alright.
Because if something comes at me and reacting.
True. She'll pick up Chell and she'll walk over to Crimson and open the backpack. I'm assuming he's still wearing it.
I didn't know it was a backpack, but he probably just had it slung over one shoulder, and he put it down on the counter.
She'll put Chell in the bag, zip it up, leave a hole for air, obviously. Then she'll hand it back to Crimson.
Hey, kitten.
Hmm.
Vampires.
I know, but she's a Muppet right now.
That lacks lungs.
Eve doesn't know.
And there's also tripping balls.
Yep.
Because Eve feels like at the moment it's not how she would normally feel it. It's a lot more intense. Probably because it's straight from a source and not like pulled out of a vein and then put into a bottle and then mixed with something else.
Yeah, this is like, holy crap. And this is like a full blood point, too, so she's just like, wow.
Yeah. But Chell's probably like managed to get the back of the backpack open just enough so she can kind of poke out. Hey Kaylee, sometime I'd like to ask you a question, but I think I can save it for another time.
Of course, just try not to call too late next time.
I'll be sure not to.
Now run along, I believe you have a story to finish for me.
Indeed we do. Come on, Crimson, let's go.
Adventure! And Chell's gonna duck back into the bag.
I'm just going to follow Eve.
So Eve will head out into the street and she'll begin looking around.
It is the cobbled street outside of Kaylee's store. There's a lot less enchanted beings wandering around, and Eve's senses are no longer totally overwhelmed by it all. Overhead, Chell and Crimson can hear the roaring turbines of a jet engine as it flies over towards the airport. Eve, however, hears a perhaps ground-shaking roar.
Eve looks up.
There is a mighty dragon borne aloft upon the desert wings flying overhead.
Eve blinks, stares, takes a breath that she doesn't need, and she goes, yeah, Beyblood's awesome. And she'll keep walking, trying to ignore the dragon, trying to focus on her task, but it's just, you know. She's gonna look over at Anna, who's been gone this whole time, I assume.
And it was just keeping kind of quiet. It's though
Hey,
she's kind of eyeing Eve almost warily.
and Eve's gonna look at Anna and go, what? It's just Beyblood.
Are you okay?
Yeah. You see, when you drink the blood of the Fae, it allows you to see things for what they are, in a sense. Magical kind of things.
Remember that silver sword I have?
No? Nobody tells me anything around here. And she crosses her arms and...
Always carried it about.
And the cruiser's gonna glance through and says, I never see you around here.
Because I'm always busy. Cleaning up. Anyway, where are we going now?
Oh, we're gonna walk around, I guess, and try to see what I can see. If I can see somebody else with the same aura that Chill has right now, I should be able to match it up.
How about we go by the hearth and see if you can pick up on that aura from outside, or see if it lingers on the step.
That could work. Alright. Lead me there.
And he would do so, heading back to the shop, thinking that maybe, just maybe, there's a trail for them to follow.
Eve was hoping for that too.
Okay, so scene change. So on the way back towards the hearth, they're walking down a non-major, like not a non-major street. It's one of the side streets, but it's still generally heavily populated. This hour, the bars are closing down for the night and all that stuff, and the clubs are kicking out. And all three, well, maybe not Chell because she's in a bag, but definitely Crimson and Eve can hear her. Hey, hey, over here, come from one of the alleyways nearby.
Eve's gonna pause, look into the alleyway.
On first glance, you can't really see much. It is, after all, a dark alleyway.
Eve's gonna wait to see what Crimson does, because she's not walking down a dark alleyway at night.
And what he does is he's going to keep going, but he's going to duck around into an alley on the opposite side of the building to break the line of sight. Once that's done, he's going to activate Obfuscate 2 and walk back around and use Serpentis 2 to use his tongue and see if he can sense vibrations in the air with that serpentine tongue. May as well enhance that with Auspex.
On a second, whilst I bring up the subnet, because... Okay. Okay, so you know that there is something out there. It's probably bipedal, but it doesn't seem human. It seems kind of fuzzy.
He's going to very slowly walk into this alley. Again, maintaining his obfuscate, so unless they have something that's Auspex 2 or equivalent, they're not going to see him walk in.
As he walks in, he sees something possibly... There's a black shape, a round head with long, gangly arms that don't seem to have any sort of defined elbow or knees, and you notice that the edges of it are rather almost feathered, as though, well, I wouldn't say they're actual feathers, but feathered as in they are slightly fuzzy. And it's standing inside of the shadows. Hey, I know you can see me out there. You should come in. We need to talk.
I'm just gonna very quietly circle around to behind this figure.
As you get closer, the features become more and more defined, and the fuzzy surroundings seem to become more blue, and you can see a couple of white spots appearing in the darkness around the figure's face. Hey, come on, stop wasting time.
And I'm assuming this looks like a Muppet, basically.
I've changed my picture.
Yeah. Once he's behind it, he's gonna drop obfuscate, and he does have his fangs out, and he's gonna very almost with as sinister a voice as he can manage, say, "Hello, puppet."
So you know in the Muppet Show when Kermit just kind of flails?
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what this blue guy does. He just goes, ah!
I can't handle this. So Eve's gonna walk into the alley and try not to die laughing on the way. She's gonna go, fucking really? And what does she see when she looks at him? The same aura?
Same aura.
Boo, she says, and she crouches down to his level.
Ah! By this time, he's like pressed up against the other wall of the alley. Chest fake rising and falling as you've seen puppets do in movies, possibly, and his hands are like pressed out beside him. No, no, don't hurt me!
Don't make me. Flicks his tongue at the air.
He's not gonna hurt you. But, seriously, what the hell? And she just looks at this puppet like, what even is this? And she'll look to like Crimson, just like, what is happening?
Psst. Is it safe?
No, no, I am not here to hurt you. I am here to help.
And how can you help, Fuzzy Face?
Fuzzyface, I am a great Jenkins, master of escapology.
Eve starts to laugh and laugh and laugh and has to brace herself against the dumpster does not fall over.
Well, you did a wonderful job escaping that.
I have escaped certain perils several times. And his head does that little wobble thing that a Muppet does when it's rather conscious that it's doing something cool and good. Oh,
Except-
but yes, I am here to help you. I know that someone is targeting you. Because I felt the cast spell being cast. The same one that I felt hit me. Several times ago.
Whose ass do I gotta kick? He'll probably hear muffled from the bag.
Your bag is speaking.
It does that.
The one who cast this spell on me. He calls himself the Puppet Master. I assume you can tell why.
Yeah. Where do we find him?
Find him? He should find you. He pulls everyone's strings. If he has turned one of your friends into a puppet, then that friend will lead you straight to the puppet master.
You probably hear the sound of zippers opening and Chell kind of like pulling herself halfway out of the bag, kind of slumping over, just look down.
Ah! And he kind of hops forwards in that way that Muppets do when they're on screen, moving over to Shell. Friend Muppet!
Oh, I thought I looked ridiculous. No offense.
I have lost all sense of myself. I have been changed several times by the spell.
You're also naked.
I am covered in blue fur.
And when that spell ends, that fur won't be there now, will it?
I think I may be beyond the ends of the spell. Also, I'd like everyone to roll perception awareness. Alertness, sorry.
Wait, awareness or alertness?
Alertness.
Okay.
And that gives me 2 successes.
Cool, everyone got something. You can hear a very faint snarling sound.
Coming from the blue thing or somewhere else?
You can't really pinpoint it. But yes, Muppet friend, I, the great Jenkins, the world's mightiest escapologist, am here to help you. For I have found a way out of the Puppet Master's control. And I am here to warn you, you should leave before he gets you.
Why? Because it sounds like I want to kick his ass using a fucking dumpster.
He has ways of stopping those of us like you and I, Muppet friend.
Well, what do I have to do?
Keep running.
That sounds stupid.
It is that, or become his thrall.
And you said she can lead us to where he is.
Eventually, he will find her, and then she will be compelled to come to him, so he can complete his control over her.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I'd rather go in the washing machine.
Well, that's good to know. And he'd kind of turn his eyes to Eve.
Eve will look at him, kind of canting her head.
He seems rather supernatural, doesn't he? Like,
I
obviously.
know. Obviously.
And he looked back to him and just say, and you don't think there's a way out of that form, do you?
Not that I know of. Eve, by the way, you notice that the shadows behind the dumpsters and various other boxes and stuff that are around are slowly getting darker. Nothing else is changing. Only Eve sees this.
Eve's gonna reach out to pick him up if that's happening. She's gonna be like, "Yeah, I'm getting out of here."
And you may want to hold off on that. Just 1 second.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go ahead and blood buff my strength, or not my strength, my dex.
By the way, the snarling is getting louder. And it's interspersed with growls and howling.
Oh, trust me, I don't plan on staying more than 1 round.
Yep, that's cool.
Lashing my tongue at his neck.
Well, he's not expecting an attack, so...
So 4 successes, and that's, I believe, strength plus 1 ag damage. Nope, just strength damage. So, and it is ag. Only 2 points though.
Well, since it's just a puppet, it kind of splits at the seams at the neck and the head kind of flies off. But yet he keeps talking. That was not very nice. Jenkins, the mighty escapologist, comes here to help you.
And your breach to the Masquerade. And
Crimson.
what? That's what your people wanted to do. He's a breach to your Masquerade, and that's what you have to do to those breaches, isn't it?
Not if we can find a way to fix it. She picks up his head and
The shadows by now are pitch black.
yeah, she's picking up the head and the body, and she's getting out of there.
Kitten,
Hmm?
the head starts to get shredded in your hands. As does the body. It's like
What?
inky black claws just kind of appear out of nowhere and just start shredding it to pieces.
And this is when Crimson's going to leave the alley and grab the back of her collar and tug her with him.
Yeah, I figured he's gonna drag Eve at this point.
Jill has ducked back into the bag, while then closing the zipper so she doesn't bounce out.
As you leave the alleyway, the sounds of howling dogs is just almost deafening until you step out of the alleyway, and then everything just goes silent. And there's a trail of white plushy stuffing just following Eve as it falls from the shredded remnants of the blue fuzzy head.
Eve's gonna let Crimson like drag her by the collar. Like this is normal for her anyway, but she's just kind of like, what? What just happened?
What kind of bullshit is this?
Deadly variety, it would seem. Shit.
Alright, so from what I've seen and what I can gather, either Jill follows this beckons and we follow her, and then we gank the bastard in his own hideout, or Jill continues to try to avoid him until that happens to her.
Personally, I want to shank his ass, so. And I don't think he'll find it very easy dominating me either.
I'm just gonna let Crimson lead at this point because, well, I need to AFK. BRB.
And he's just going to continue walking back towards the hearth, but he's gonna... He's kind of waiting for that beckon to hit Chell, because that's... It's either that or they find a trail at the hearth and he doesn't know which is going to happen.
Well, it takes a few hours, but late on in the night, Chell, you feel a strong compulsion to leave.
What time of night is it?
Sorry, what was that?
I was gonna ask, what time is it?
It's like 3-ish in the morning.
Well, I guess while Chell is leaving, would she be able to still use her phone while she's walking?
Okay. She can. How big is a phone?
Flip phone?
Okay. Sure.
And she's probably calling Crimson.
Who has his phone on silent and is following obfuscated.
Well?
Because he wasn't leaving her out of his sight.
Alright, I guess she's just gonna keep walking then.
And while they're walking, he's just gonna go ahead and turn the GPS on his phone on.
The GPS starts leading them off towards one of the older parts of town. There's a disused, what looks like some sort of school. Chell finds her way somehow without being seen by anyone to this place and wanders along inside. Inside there are a lot of sort of disused mechanical things with bits of fur and fluff hanging off them, as though they've been there for years and years, in shapes of humanoid style, like bipedal rabbits and dogs.
Okay, I'm back. What did I miss? Where are we?
Jill started to leave. I obfuscated and I followed. And I turned the GPS on my phone on.
Okay.
They turned up at a school, and Chell somehow managed to get there without being, you know, a massive Masquerade breach. And when she enters, she sees lots of what looks like bipedal metal skeletons with drags of fur and the white stuffing fluff hanging from them, as though they've been decomposing there for a long time.
Rolling courage. I'm good. They sound like animatronics.
Yeah, you're correct.
So Eve's... Well, she can't see Crimson. He's obfuscated. Unless he
Anna's
broke... Oh, Anna's there. Okay, she's latched onto Anna. For the first time, she's hiding behind Anna.
And if they ever lost sight of Crimson, Eve does know how to track his GPS if it's on.
According to the GPS, Crimson is stood maybe 10 feet in front of her.
Yeah. Well, that's 10 feet closer to the things. So she's behind Anna.
Eve, come on, we have to go in there.
No, we don't have to go in there.
Eve, they're not going to get up and start walking around.
Have you ever played Five Nights at Freddy's?
Have you ever seen what happens when iron oxidizes?
Fine. What do I see with my... Almost said elven eyes, wow. With my, you know, the Fey blood going. What do I see with these things that I'm looking at?
At the things, the animatronics, you just see nothing. They do not appear to be active whatsoever in any sort of enchanted way.
That's disappointing, in a way, but not really.
Slightly odd, because everyone else that you've looked at has had some small sort of imaginative spark to them.
Yeah. I'm just going to inch in, trying not to look directly at any of the animatronics. Still clinging to Anna's arm very tightly.
Ow!
Sorry, she lets up a little bit.
Moving further into the area, you find that it's, once you're actually inside of it, you're very, very brightly lit. Everywhere's got really bright lights, as though they're trying to block out as many shadows as possible. Though once the door swings shut, you do hear a faint scratching noise, just very slowly, running down the length of each door behind you. And then a soft snarl.
And what does Chelsea?
Moving further and further into the school, Chelsea sees several more of those apparently discarded animatronics, and lots of blue fur and red fur and green fur and bits of felt and white stuffing and all that stuff, until she eventually comes to what looks like some sort of assembly hall, and on stage there's a collection of sort of ragdoll proned Muppets, and in the center of the stage there's a large, almost dais with a chair on top of it, and on top of the chair, mightily sitting, is a very small red figure.
Is the impulsion to come closer gone now that she's within range, or?
Chell feels like she just wants to stand there. Ah, my latest acquisition! And he hops down from the throne, dropping the several feet to the floor, waddling slowly closer.
You're the one who did it?
Yes, it was me!
Oh, I'm gonna have fun tearing you apart.
Not so fast! And it raises a tiny little fuzzy red hand, and you just kind of feel yourself entirely held in place. For you see, I am Wilfred Fizzlebang, the Mighty, but you may call me Lord Jaraxxus.
I thought Willy Wobby was a bad name.
That is, I thought Willy Wobby was a bad name, my lord.
And, well, obfuscated. I'm going to go ahead and activate Serpentis 3. And, looking back, do I see the other two getting close at all?
Anna's practically dragging Eve forwards.
Yeah, Eve's being dragged forward, and she's just like, no. But Eve is putting a hand on her gun at this point.
You see, you have been brought here to be part of my new army. Together we are going to destroy the things that have tried to prey on me.
What has trying to prey on you, mate?
The dogs in the shadows. You see, for us, those things will always be trying to kill me. And now you. But as part of my army, we will crush them and reign supreme. Ha 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 ha!
I'm starting to wonder if I've been drugged or not. And if so, this is a mighty big drug.
Dogs in the shadows. Okay, well, first off, why are you a Muppet then?
The small red thing looks kind of surprised as it finally seems to see Eve. Wait, you aren't supposed to be here.
Surprise, bitch.
Go. And he turns, waddling back towards the throne. Just wait right there.
As he turns to go towards his throne, Crimson's going to move in front of him, drop obfuscate, and roar right in his face, with that tongue thrashing just inches away from him.
Okay, so upon remembering suddenly that Crimson was there, he kind of goes, "Ah!" and skitters off to one side. Just wait right there, I'm not ready yet.
You may have an army, but I have a snake guy.
Just wait right there, 1 second.
What is he trying to do?
It looks like he's trying to go around Crimson at a rather hurried pace now and head back up towards the throne.
I'm just going to keep between him and the throne.
Oh no,
And
no, I have to make my entrance.
And if he advances towards me at all, I'm going to lash him with the tongue.
Come on, I'm trying to make my entrance. I am Lord Jaraxxus. I demand to have my entrance. He keeps trying to circle around Crimson. So basically, it's like there's this little red fuzzy thing that's maybe like 1.5 feet tall, just trying to circle around Crimson, who's sidestepping and just easily keeping him between him and the throne.
Yeah, I might add that if you're not aware with what Serpentis 3 does, my entire body is completely covered in scales. My entire form is longer but lankier and far more agile. And even though this isn't going to come up, if there's an opening the size of my head, I can squeeze my whole body through it.
After maybe a full few minutes of this little puppet trying to get around Crimson, he just kind of stops and stamps a fuzzy foot. How am I supposed to play Overlord if you can't let me make my entrance?
And with his growl and this growling voice, Crimson just says, "Playtime's over." And as he finishes that, there's going to be a hiss with the tongue kind of like flicking the air, kind of like a snake's would.
A small bit of white stuffing fluff drops to the floor behind the Muppet.
Shell's just kind of cracking up from where she stood.
I see your point, and he turns, starting to walk towards the door. I will find a new venue, and there I will have my entrance. I bid you all a good day.
Grabbing the fur of his back and hoisting him up. You're gonna change my friend back, or you're gonna wish those puppies came for you a lot sooner.
What? Back? Why would I change her back? She's better.
3, 2.
Hold on.
Okay. It requires a ritual.
Ritual?
Yes, a very precise and extremely complicated ritual that I won't even bother trying to tell you because you wouldn't understand it.
And I'm just gonna put him on the ground, but he's gonna maintain that hold on him. And I suggest you start now.
Okay, I will require some help and assistance. Minions! And Crimson is suddenly covered in small fuzzy creatures, just kind of batting at him and clawing and biting with fuzzy mouths.
Is this even phasing me at all?
Yep, and I'm about to roll for it. I'm going to do one overall roll for them. With Dex, oh Jesus. Dex Brawl. Consider yourself grappled unless you're rolling to resist.
Well, they're able to get a hold of me, but then it's a resisted strength check.
Yep.
Fortunately, I haven't buffed my strength, so...
Consider yourself grappled by dozens of tiny Muppets.
Well then, can Eve make a move?
Yeah?
Actually, This is... The love of her life is in danger. I believe that is a frenzy attack.
Not only is the love of your life in danger, the love of your life is in danger from tiny fuzzy Muppets.
I know. Oh, okay. Well, I got one because
They don't seem to be actually doing any damage to you. They're just like holding you down because for some reason felt doesn't seem to hurt scales.
Can Chell move?
You can try.
Chell's gonna start walking towards the Overlord then.
So as you're saying,
I think I had one success. I believe the difficulty is 8 for loved
Yep.
one, correct?
Yep, you pass.
Well, either way, I have. Oh, I have self-control enough that I am angry either way, and my gun is coming out, and I'm aiming it at stupid Elmo or whatever, and she's gonna go, "You call them off now, or I will fill you with holes."
Trifling humans. Whatever you are. Minion! And he points at Chell. Chell, make a self-control roll.
I have a question. Does Iron Will affect anything at all?
Iron will affect this roll.
I also have a willpower of 10.
That does not affect this roll.
Alright, self-control.
Wow.
Chell's not impressed with your shit at all. Look, you're gonna notice she's coming right at you, and also... Should I just declare what I'm gonna be trying to do?
Sure.
Visitor 2, I'm going to fleshcraft his eyeballs off.
What exactly are you flesh crafting?
Or essentially, I'm just grabbing your eyes and pulling them off.
You
There we
can't. Oh well,
You know
can
what?
pull
Fine,
it
I'm
off.
using the power potence.
Yeah.
Je suis sad.
All right.
What am
I
I
still have
rolling?
those incendiary rounds, don't I, Dave? I've never used them.
Char, currently we are declaring. So you've declared what you're doing. Eve.
Yeah, that's what I was asking Dave really quick. Dave, I still have those incendiary rounds, right?
you tell me, do you?
Yeah, I don't believe I ever used them. I'm just checking with you. All right. If I have it, they're still in her gun because she wouldn't have unloaded those. All right. My declared action is she's going to take aim and fire at the Muppet's head. She's done playing games.
And Dave.
Blood buff strength, bat off the Muppets, and I think that would take his full turn to do.
Okay, dokes. So we will finish in reverse order. So Dave, roll by blood buffed strength. Yeah. That's 2 successes each, I think.
Yep.
So you fling some of the Muppets off as you start to go into your, oh god, I'm so strong because Jesus Christ, you're a giant snake now. So next turn there will be less strength rolled because some of the Muppets have flown off.
Alright.
Eve.
I'm pulling the trigger.
Count the shells.
Aborting mission when she sees the fucking gun.
You don't know what ammo she has loaded.
I still don't want to be in the way of someone shooting a gun. I'm going right in front of him.
Hey, you're a puppet. And a vampire. Oh no, it's the gun.
I'm a puppet, and I'm more fragile.
Either
Can I-
way.
I
think if you spend a willpower point to change your action, right?
Yeah, that's what I was planning on doing.
Alright, you spent a willpower then.
Instead of what she's gonna do is she was going in, but upon seeing the gun, she's gonna Zoidberg on out. Probably actually flailing her arms and running out of the way.
Okay, so the cowardly Chell cowers at the sight of a gun coming out. Kitten, roll your attack. This is the Muppets dodge roll.
Alright, I have a specialty in revolver.
Jesus Christ.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 successes.
Well, I got 2, so...
So she's going to add 4 to her damage roll.
And
Yeah.
what
Leave
is
the
my
base.
control?
The base should be 7, but the first point of that is going to be ag.
Yeah. And then it's the base is 7, and then I add on how many?
You had 7 initially, right?
Yeah, I had 7 successes.
Subtract 2 because of the defender, and then 1 just to hit, so you're adding 4 to that. So that's going to be 11 dice,
Wow.
1 of which will be ag.
Jesus.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
So 1 ag, 7 lethal.
For fuck's sake!
More importantly, the Muppet just bursts into flame as the incendiary round hits it, goes straight through it, and buries itself in the floor on the other side. For a moment, the Muppet's like, I just survived being shot through the chest. And then, whoom, fire everywhere all over it. And it just starts running around being like, ah, fire, curse you, my one and only predictable weakness.
And
Hey,
rock
that's accurate.
guys. Correct, Dave?
Hmm?
There's a bonfire running around, wouldn't you say?
I wouldn't say a bonfire, more like a campfire.
Wait, there's a campfire running around. Ross check, right?
Yeah.
That's your courage, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, no successes. Eve's out.
Two successes. Two 7s and a 9, and a 1 cancelled out one of the 7s.
And I see Chell got 2, I believe. So, Kitten, who is currently going, oh my god, fire! Why did I think it was a good idea to shoot fire?
Yep, even.
She,
Going out the back.
she fails to realise that the floor underneath her, where there is a slight shadow, is getting darker inside the shadow. Especially when she gets to the door and opens it.
What do I see when I open the door?
Have you recovered enough from your rot rack to figure out that, you know, you're far enough away from the fire to get your wits about you?
I might when I step through the door. Yeah, I'm gonna say once I step out of the door, I'm far enough away now that it's like, whoo. But what am I gonna see?
You see a dark, bloody, skinless dog just jump out of your shadow.
Oh,
landing inside the hall behind you. You recognize the claws.
Eve turns around, looks at it, and she yells for Crimson to run. Get out of there!
And he's going to do just that. And either grab Chell or Anna, or both on his way if he can.
Anna is easily grabbed because she's still going, what the fuck?
Chell's a puppet. I don't think she's very difficult to grab.
Meanwhile, running around in circles.
Which, as amusing as that is, I was just told to run. And there's fire.
As you move, the Muppets that are still clinging to you just gradually fall off one by one as another dog appears out of, through the doorway that Eve had open. And they set about just tearing these Muppets to shreds.
Good puppies? And just kind of leave. Close the door. Okay, that's enough for one day. Let's get out of here.
Isn't he the only one that can break this bloody thing?
Do you want to go back in there?
Personally, I don't, but
Okay
the prospect
then.
of being a puppet forever is also on my mind.
You'll be an interesting gift to your ghoul.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, God. Well, that's me done. So leaving the upon leaving the school, you can see the flicker of flame through a window, and you can hear growling and shredding material behind you as you beat a hasty retreat.
So, anyone else thinking this is still all a dream?
If it's not a dream, then I need stronger drugs than Fey blood.
Sorry, what was that, Ken? I was watching the video that Dave just posted.
Actually, I'm gonna have to bow out for a little bit. I will come back. Okay, guys?
Okay, dokes.
And as after all the tearing and shredding, we kind of left. I'm assuming we head back to the hearth. At least that's where Crimson is heading.
And by proxy, so are Anna and Chell.
Chell's is kind of ragdolled at the moment, because if anyone sees them, she ain't being a masquerade breach.
And so everyone rallies back at the hearth. Anna's looking a little shaken, let's say.
And after they get into the alleyway, he's gonna drop his obfuscate. He made sure Anna knew where they were headed before obfuscating, because he still looks like the lizard from Spider-Man, honestly. Once they get inside, or he gets inside with the obfuscate dropped, Frank, of course, like looking at him like, what the fuck? And when they get downstairs, he pulls his shades off and he pulls his hat off, puts them on the bar top. Puts Chell down on the bar top.
Chell just kind of crisscrosses on top of it.
Can
Yes.
I have something to drink? And a bucket? I think I need it.
What sort of drink? And he's just gonna like tap the bar stool next to him.
That one. And she points at a random bottle. And of course has no idea what it is.
Glancing to it, did she point at alcohol?
Pardon?
Did she point at something that was alcoholic?
Oh, yeah.
He kind of gets up, walks around the bar, and he opens up a little fridge under that. Pulls out some blood, pours it into a bit of a glass, and sets it down in front of her.
Thank you. And I just picks it up in two hands and basically drinks from it like it's a sippy cup.
Closes up the fridge, pauses, opens it back up, grabs one of the there's a little bag in there that's labeled rum, although it's filled with blood. Goes back to where he was sitting before and using his teeth kind of gnashes the cap open and then just drinks from it, not unlike drinking from a juice box.
Can we please wake up from this dream now?
I have a question. Can Chell pop out her fangs, or are they just kind of like always out?
You get cute little fuzzy felt fangs.
And she's just gonna kind of poke at him.
They don't seem to actually be sharp. On the plus side, though, you're not actually feeling hungry. Nor do you have any sort of craving for blood. You do feel like you should find a stage and put on some sort of Muppet show, though.
No. Chell's resisting that urge, just sitting there, looking at her life and her choices.
And to answer Anna's question when she asked, can we wake up from this dream? And Crin just says, I wish we could.
Today's been one long of a day.
I mean, Chell hasn't changed back. What do we do now? We're like flying so far over my head with this magic stuff that I'm not even sure we're on this planet anymore. I don't like it. I don't like magic. Magic's stupid.
I think magic's rather fun, just when it's not pointed at you. Well, since me coming back from the days where it wasn't exactly as much of a myth as it is now.
Has it occurred to Anna about him looking like a large lizard?
This is part of what Anna is having to drink to deal with. In fact, I'm going to do a quick charisma performance roll. 1 performance for 5. Okay, Anna looks like she's doing all right with it. It's she looks like she's holding everything together. Of course, how much of that is an act is anyone's guess, really.
He's not looking past the act at all, or not even attempting to, really. But assuming Eve went with them and probably went to compose herself, he's going to stretch his arms out over the bar top and slowly revert back to his normal self. And it doesn't say how that happens in the book, but I'm guessing that the scales kind of peel off like a snake shedding its skin. And once the skin has been fully shed, it probably just crumbles to dust.
So, I mean, what now?
Well, I think we killed the only thing standing between me and human, but at the same time, that might have broken the spell, so maybe I'll just have to wait.
I'd say if you're not back to normal by tomorrow night, we go back, because we don't have enough time to go back there and check and make it out of that place before the sun comes up.
What if
You in the sunlight.
those dog things come looking for Chell?
And that's why this place is warded.
I also have a sword and strength, unlike those Muppets back at the thing.
Oh, okay, if you guys think that's best.
Part of me wishes I could drink alcohol right now.
I don't think I've ever seen a puppet eat anything that's not a cookie. So what happens if Chell doesn't change back?
You mean
Well, if I don't change back, I'll retire as Hound and start my new show business.
Wouldn't that be a massive masquerade breach?
I was kidding, hun.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's alright.
it's simple. If she doesn't turn back, she becomes a lab rat for some spellcasting variants of our kind. Until they can figure out how to undo what was done to her.
Anna makes a mental note to maybe tell Cross about this. He could be interested.
Oh god, that put me in so much debt with the Tremere. If they actually find out how to fix me, of course.
So, we're just going to wait here then?
Seems that way. Well, I am. I don't know about you.
Well, I should probably go home.
Feel free to do so. Thank you for the help, though.
Okay, when Eve comes out, tell her I said hi and give her a hug from me. And she finishes her drink and meanders off into the night.
And the blood that he gave her was alcoholic, so he's watching. How is she handling this?
Well, it hasn't fully hit it yet because it's only been a few minutes, but oh boy, when it does. Anna's mentally counting down the minutes because she knows how long it will take to properly affect her.
And just before she leaves, he's gonna yell back up. If you want, you can ask Cyrus, the ghoul that should be in the storeroom, for a ride to somewhere close to where you live. But at least cut down on your walking time. He doesn't know how far away from his shop she lives.
Well, okay, I was gonna go call someone to, like Izzy or someone to help me home.
Alright.
And that was a lie check.
It seemed real enough. He's not trying to see through it.
Cool. Yeah, Anna goes and calls one of her new friends. She has a couple of questions about some hairless dogs, which we can leave for another time.
Yeah.
And if you guys are just going to wait, I believe that we can wrap things up here for now.
Alright.
And probably carry on maybe tomorrow, if not some point in the next few days.
Alright.
For another episode of Masquerade Time, Fun Time. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watcher, for watching. And good night.